everybody. This is Annalisa with Journey to the Goddess, where I regenerate ancient feminine wisdom for modern women. Today, I am with the lovely Dr. April Heaslip. Hello, Dr. April.
Hello, Anna. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very happy to be here. What an honor.
Dr. April is a regular contributor here. She's also a college professor, a mythologist, a ecofeminist, and a regeneratrix, and many, many more things. I'm excited to have her here to talk about the topics of Mary Magdalene and regeneration. This is the first of a 4-part series running from the spring equinox to Easter Sunday, in which we talk about different aspects of Mary Magdalene and regeneration in the culture, how that resonates for the modern woman, and how they can integrate concept of the regenerative cycle into their lives, whether that's honoring their bodies in a new way, finding a new way to tell their stories, looking at themselves within the larger context of the culture of the women's movement. So I invite you to dive in and enjoy this 4-part series on Mary Magdalene and regeneration. So Dr. April, you call yourself a regeneratrix, which I find really encompasses the psychological and the spiritual and the biological components of regeneration. So I'm hoping that you can elaborate for us all of these pieces of regeneration that we just spoke to.
I'm always working on 3 levels: the personal, psyche, the community around us, and then globally with the earth, right? So if we look at a biological regenerative practice, we can talk about compost. And we talk about it in terms of the transformation in the winter of our scraps, things that we don't appreciate. We let them sit, we may turn them, we may forget about them. And in the spring, we use them to fertilize our gardens for food. So we have faith in taking our seeds from the dark out into the light. And it's very wonderful that this will be shown on the vernal equinox when that season shift occurs. And with that planting, we're going into the ground and expecting the nourishment from that black gold. So that kind of process and cycle is happening all the time in our bodies on a cellular level, and in our communities, and in the earth, on the earth, in nature, which we're very much a part of all the time. Right. And it is the primary modality of life.
In the regenerative cycle, there's the birth, there's the growth, the decay, and then the death, right? And the regenerative piece is what follows death. And so what I love about this idea, or it's not even an idea, but it's a way of seeing the world, lens of regeneration, is that it naturalizes and it affirms death as an important process in order to grow or to regrow, to renew. Absolutely. Let's talk about Mary Magdalene. Who is Mary Magdalene to you?
As a mythologist, I'm always looking to see who or what is showing up archetypally. And Magdalene wouldn't leave me alone. What came to me in my research was that her mythology was part of a lineage of partnership models and bridal figures. And she went into exile in a way when she was denied and ignored as a story, as a myth, as a woman, as a historical woman. And so it's this gaping wound within Western cultures, because so much of Western culture is born out of the Judeo-Christian mythologies. And I'm going to say those are plural. Right. And so to have that outline be so significant, it really speaks to the way women have been denigrated for years.
Can you dive more into the significance of us talking, hello, Aggie? We can just acknowledge her. Can you speak more to uh, the significance of us speaking about this on Lent?
Well, at its core, it's a grieving time. It culminates in the 4 days around that end at Easter and begin with Maundy Thursday, and Good Friday is better known. But counting backwards, these 40 days mark the story towards death that Jesus goes through. And it's the if we're looking at a partnership model, whether or not Magdalene was a partner to Jesus or not, there's a lot of energy around wanting her to have been. And that's the zeitgeist. So if we're looking at her as the widow, this is about grief and transformation. Also, as a teacher within the Christian church, she was ignored. There are wonderful paintings, especially coming out of the Dutch tradition, that show her teaching either in the south of France with the Golden Legend or in other places. And so there are layers and layers of who she may have been or who we want her to be now, whether she lived or not, whether she was or wasn't, right? But most specifically in terms of Lent, it is about grief, the grief and loss that death requires, that tending.
Why is her resurgence, her regenerating in the culture at this time important?
She has this ability as an archetype to connect with folks on so many different levels. As a spiritual seeker who may or may not have been an investor in the pilgrimage, right? As a meditator at the end of her life, a solitary, prioritizing herself and quietude, as a partner, possibly as a mother, as coming to a rich fullness in her lifetime.
And regenerating her not only as a historical figure and maybe many of the other roles that she may or may not have played, we're in a sense regenerating ourselves as women. We're opening up the fullest capacity of our own stories, of who we are, our own potential as women.
Mm-hmm.
Opening up a new portal within our kind of cultural mythos of what it means to be a woman.
Exactly. The embodiment of women's wisdom is still a bit abstract, but Magdalene has this human face that she's easier to identify with, I believe. That being said, she's only mentioned a few times in the Christian Bible. And one of those is at the cross. And what an embodied experience to stand there and be with your beloved or your spiritual leader while they are dying in such a profoundly painful and anguishing experience when all the other folks have left and abandoned. So she's there with Mother Mary, and that process of being present to grief is her other incredible strength. So one of the core issues in terms of feminist pedagogy and the women's movement now, I think we're in a fourth wave, is to stand witness to the grief of all of the lost experiences and opportunities that women are tending.
Beautiful.
And there is Magdalene showing us, okay, this is how you do it.
Dr. April, thank you so much for being here once again and having this amazing, soul satisfying and educational conversation on Mary Magdalene and regeneration. If you'd like to find out more about Dr. April and how you can work with her, there will be links to her website below. Thank you so much, everyone. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you so much for viewing, everybody. If
If you liked what you saw, then I encourage you to like this video, to comment, to subscribe to the channel, and of course to share the videos, because sharing is caring, right? And don't forget to watch every other video in this series. And if you're looking for other ways that you can support the channel, then I encourage you to head on over to my Patreon page, where you can learn more about membership and all the benefits that come included with membership. So thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support from the bottom of my heart. Until next time, ciao.